Today's conversation is sponsored by First Generation Capital Partners. If you're an accredited investor and you want to know about how we're helping other accredited investors keep more of their income, go to firstgencp.com/going long.
You're listening to the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels, the #1 podcast for long-distance real asset investing.
Welcome to the Going Long podcast. We're back once again to continue to help to educate you so you feel much more comfortable as well as confident investing beyond your backyard. And yep, I'm your host, Billy Keels, and we're back for another solo episode because we got to have these moments together where you and I can kind of chat and share some things with you very quickly because that's what you want more of. But I also love being able to say thank you so much for continuing to share the podcast across social media, tagging us. It means the world, especially on the LinkedIn platform and over on Instagram. Thank you so much for that. If you want to leave an honest written review as well as rating, you can do that. And most importantly, if you want to check out any of the previous episodes, solo episodes, or with our guests, go to firstgencp.com/podcast. Once again, firstgencp.com/podcast. So since this is a solo episode, you know, you like me keeping these very, very brief, but there's a couple of things that continue to be on my mind and something that I want to share with you, right? Because as you know, I continuously speak to people who are interested in learning more about what it is. So some of the things that we're doing, potentially they want to become a part of our very exclusive investor family. And there's lots of different conversations that I'm constantly having with people from all over the world, right? And primarily a lot of different people from the US, a lot of people that are in corporate world and want to move forward, and you realize that there's something else that's out there, but you just feel stuck. So for those of you, if you are feeling stuck and you feel like, hey, listen, I can't move forward. Well, I want to share this with you, right? Because this is one of the things that came up in a conversation the other day. I was having one of the strategy calls, right? That someone came in, a potential investor family member, and they wanted to really talk to me. But one of the things that came up over and over was, hey, listen, I've been doing this job. I'm making well into the six figures. And it just feels like if I look at where I was last year compared to where I am this year, I'm in the exact same place financially. And so the way that it came across was, hey, listen, there's a lot of deception or a lot of, I don't know if deception is the right word. Maybe the right word is disappointment. So, right, a lot of disappointment that this person didn't feel like they'd move forward financially. Well, and I kind of said, okay, well, why do you feel that way? And what we came to uncover was that there was a lot of studying, a lot of listening to podcasts, a lot of watching videos, a lot of signing up to courses. But at the end of the day, this person had not taken any action. Right. We looked at the positive side about that because the action that had taken before was primarily in the stock market. And for those of you that are listening right now, you know what the last year was in 2022 with the stock market, lots of ups and downs. And so the positive side was, well, at least you're not in any worse position. But the other side was, well, now you have excess capital sitting in the bank and you realize that is not a positive thing. Right. And so I want to talk to those of you because I'm a recovering perfectionist. So you know that I've also struggled with this in the past. I used to think having more money in the bank was the thing that made me feel the greatest and gave me the most confidence. But it's a really simple process to get unstuck, right? First and foremost, like I said, these are very quick episodes. But for those of you who are like me, are recovering perfectionists, you know there's something else out there. You didn't grow with money. And so you feel like having money in the bank is the thing that's going to set you free. That's probably the thing that's going to keep you in your job for the rest of your life. Why? Because it gives us a false sense of security. Anyway, getting back to the basics. I don't want to get too far off track here. So first and foremost, if you want to get unstuck, the education has to be there because if there's not a level of education, then everything that you potentially would place your capital, your energy in is going to be perceived as highly risky because you don't understand it. It's like speaking a foreign language. If you hear Spanish and you've never taken a Spanish course, it sounds super complicated. But if you've studied, lived in Spain, taken grammar classes, or in Mexico or any Spanish-speaking country, well, it doesn't sound so complicated. Why? Because you've got the basic education, you got some real life practice. Afterwards, having the second part after getting education is getting the support system. The people that are going to help you answer the questions that are going to add to your education base, give you more practical knowledge rather than the theoretical knowledge. And the third step to getting unstuck, and this is super important, is you absolutely must take action. And when it comes to investing, that means moving money from one place and placing it somewhere else. Once you've gotten the education, once you have the support system so that you feel like the risk is in line with what you can accept from an investment perspective with your investable capital, the money that you are willing to lose 100%. And so I've got a couple of things for those of you that still feel stuck, like, okay, yeah, Billy, take action. Well, what does that mean? So let's say that you are an accredited investor. And this is a lot of you that are like me, we're first generation, and you're thinking, I just want to take action. Well, here's a couple of things you could do. Let's say that you have a certain amount of money sitting in the bank. Take that money and say a percentage of the money. Let's just say you have $500,000 that's sitting in the bank. Say, I'm going to take 10% of that. And this year, I'm going to place that in 1 or 2 investments, and I'm going to place it by a specific date. That will really help you to realize you still got 90% of what you have as investable capital, because I'm talking about investable capital. And you put it somewhere, you give a specific timeline on it, and it's a smaller portion so that you know that you can start to take action, because everything's probably not going to work exactly like you have in your mind. It will probably more than likely work right, but not the way that you have in your mind. So that's one way. Take a smaller percentage. Another thing is just whatever the opportunity is that you're looking at, just go with a much smaller amount. It probably seems similar to the one that I was talking to you about before, but it's not. So let's say that you're looking at a couple of different deals, that the minimum investment is $250,000, and you know that you have it, but you just don't feel comfortable doing that. Look at opportunities that are smaller, that are $100,000 opportunities as the minimum investment, because then that way you still know you have $500,000 of investable capital. You could feel comfortable potentially doing that, but you're looking at deals that are at a specific range, 50K, 100, up to 100K, because that's also going to help you, once again, set a date that you're going to make a decision by this particular time and be also investing in something to take action. You can also look to invest with other people. Don't always feel like it has to be you that's doing it. Learn about a group of people, or get the education, get the support system, and maybe with that specific group, you have opportunities to also invest. The important thing is to take action. I suffered from analysis paralysis for a really, really long time. It held me back for a long time. Once I started taking action, I made mistakes. You will make mistakes, but at least you're taking action. That way you're starting to overcome feeling stuck. And also a year later, you're going to gain much more experience, if nothing else, about the things that you will know what to do more of and what to do less of in the past. You've gotten to this point in your life, in your career, because you've made really good decisions. You also know that not all of them were the right decisions at the time, but they were the best decisions that you can make based on the information that you had and the knowledge that you had. It's the exact same process here. So very simply, really quickly, because this is a solo episode, how do you get unstuck? Baseline education, get the support, and be able to take action. I gave you 3 specific examples that you can do to take action. If you have other ones, share them with me. You can even leave it in your honest written review. What's the one that I'm forgetting? Maybe you have something else that you have also seen that works. And while you are thinking about that, while you're listening to this again, you're figuring out your specific dates, your specific amount, so that you can start to take action and get in the game, so that a year later, you're not looking back feeling like, hey, listen, I'm still stuck in the same place. Share that with me. Share it with everybody. Listen, take today's episode, share it with family, share it with friends. Would really like to see and hear more about how you're moving forward. But while you're doing that, I'm going to prepare for the next solo episode, right? So until then, go out and make it a great day. And thank you very much. Trust that you enjoyed today's conversation. And once again, today's conversation was sponsored by First Generation Capital Partners. If you're an accredited investor and want to find out more about how we're helping accredited investors to gain their personal freedom even faster, go to firstgencp.com/going long.